Okay, looks like we're ready to begin. Welcome to the stream. What's up, Croft? Welcome back. Good to see you. We're going to be starting up a new one tonight. As I said I would do before. A little bit late tonight, but I guess that's just how it happens sometimes. Oh, well. Tomb Raider 4, Tomb Raider Last Revelation. We finished up 3, it's been a few days, earlier this week. And yeah, 3 was real good. But this is the one I've been looking forward to the most, I gotta say. And was looking to get some things set up here. Wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to play it, but we got something worked out. So let's go ahead and get on into it. I just need to make sure that this is all unmuted, ready to go. If I could find it. I'm also getting like audio from my own stream. Uh-oh, that's not good. There we go. Okay. So I may or may not have mentioned it in the past, but Tomb Raider Last Revelation was actually my first Tomb Raider game that I ever played. Originally got it on the PlayStation, still own that copy, and thought it was a great game. But at the time that I played it, which was, what was I, like 8 or 9 at the time, maybe? Yeah, it was a little bit difficult for me. And I always thought the Tomb Raider games were exceptionally hard after playing through that one. But after having gone through 1 through 3 now, I feel like I can manage most of them. I used to think this one was one of the harder ones, but I don't know. It might not be. It's been a long time since I played it. As I've been making my way through the series, I've gone back to this one, and I've been testing the disc. I've been looking at doing the PC version, and I've played through a couple of the levels, and yeah, it doesn't seem too bad. But of course, I've only gone through like the first couple, so not really the best way to grade it, but we'll see how it goes. Who's this hatted man?
And so, we breach the sanctum of the ancients, the first footfalls in this tomb for centuries.
This place gives me the creeps, after you.
The way she says it, that it's almost like
Careful.
he gives her the creeps, but this place also does.
Traps and pitfalls await the unwary. You must stay close and follow my instruction.
It's gigantic, this game. Yeah, I remember it being fairly long. We'll see how it compares to the others. Kind of ironic because this is sort of a new thing. It's not really a globe-trotting game like we've dealt with previous Tomb Raiders. This one, except for the opening, primarily just sticks with Egypt. So a little bit different, but also gives them time to kind of craft a consistent theme, I think.
And cruel men have bartered the information for their own ends. For this we must respect it. We will not deviate from its route, and you will not deviate from my instruction. This way.
Going back and forth with playing the other games on stream and then testing this one, just the visual leap always impressed me quite a bit. I mean, you know, we're still dealing with PlayStation graphics and everything, but I don't know, the textures, the models, the amount of polygons that they're able to use with some of this stuff. This is sort of, in my opinion, like peak core design Tomb Raider. This is a bit of a swan song for them.
Test your, how do you say, pluck. Press and hold walk. Now push forward. Come, child. Do not fear.
This give me time to do it. Come on.
For the perils ahead. Push forward and jump together.
Of course, if you do it here, you like barely make it, I think. Yeah. But hold on. There's treasure afoot. A little bit of a weird turn, too. I think we saw at the beginning of the game there, we didn't really have the options that we normally would with the previous Tomb Raider games. No Croft Manor or anything to pick up with. And, yeah, instead of kind of allowing players to sort of do it at their own discretion, they just kind of force you into the tutorial at the beginning of the game, which probably was for the best for people getting into the series. I don't know. I feel like most people wouldn't want to just choose the training grounds at Croft Manor and start off with that, but, you know, you force people to do it, and it's a bit of a different story.
Patience, child. Disrespect is a route to carelessness. Our route lays beyond the stream.
For someone like me that, for whatever reason, just picked up The Last Revelation and said, yeah, I want to play this without knowing anything about the previous games or even attempting to get the previous games, yeah, it was kind of welcome having a tutorial at the very beginning of the game. So, I mean, you could read through the instruction manuals all you want. Doesn't really help you until you actually get into the meat of the game. Of course, for long-time players, all this stuff's going to be basic. They're not really going to show you anything new. Unless you somehow got through the previous 3 games without knowing
This gap is wider,
basic
and the
controls.
edge is treacherous. First walk to the edge, then press forward and jump together. When you are in midair, press and hold action. You will grab the outcrop.
The other thing that's sort of mildly annoying about this is, especially if you're like replaying it, is that I don't believe you can skip any of the dialogue. So,
The pace
let me
is
try now.
quickening now, yeah? One more
Nope.
crossing, child. Or do you wish to stop for tea?
Oh, I think I can just about hold it together. Wouldn't want to spill it on your nice suit, at any rate.
This one calls for a run-up. I will go first.
Beat you to it. There's a section later on where it splits between 2 potential paths, and one is a lot harder than the other. I don't necessarily remember what constitutes which path you take.
You're a regular superhero, Werner.
Ah, yes, the Superman. There's enough comedy.
That's quite the joke.
Run to the wall. Now press forward and hold action to grab on. Now press right to shimmy across.
All right. I'll get through there eventually. But anyway, it might just be like the dicking around, or it could even be based on the skulls that you're picking up. I don't know. I should look it up at some point, but
now press
it's not terribly important.
climb up.
And take a look at the menu. Oh, actually, there's a pause. There's 2 different sets of menus in this one. Forget about that. But you have sort of like the reworked item menu by pressing the select button, and save and load are all set up quite nicely in here. And then you have the pause menu, which is where you get your options and exiting the game and whatnot. So that's kind of nifty. Might turn the sound effects down just a little bit. Do your automatic targeting. There's like a slight manual targeting, control configuration, all that stuff. You get your statistics in here. It's pretty cool. 70 secrets. I don't know if that goes by level or what. That seems like a lot.
This is a high fall. You should lower yourself down to be safe. Turn around to face away from the door. Now press back and hold action. Let go of action to fall to the floor.
There were I think there's a couple new abilities in this game. I don't remember specifically what they were, but I guess we'll find out eventually. For the most part, everything's pretty much the same.
The mechanism to activate the bridge lies at the other side of the stream. These rivers cascade through chambers and caverns deep below these prehistoric foothills. As a consequence...
Freezing, I guessed. The old gout playing up again, Werner?
I guess it
In
is.
deep pools, you can swim by pressing jump.
It's a
Use
mid-jump.
the directions to navigate through the water.
Tutorial time.
There may be artifacts, trinkets at the bed.
Okay, cool. Can I jump now? Ah, here's a trinket. He seems untrustworthy. Maybe. We'll find out, I guess. So getting a slight static pop in my headphones. I don't know if that's through my mixer or what. I guess I'll have to look into that at some point, but as long as it's not popping up on stream, I guess that's fine. I don't know. Sometimes people tell me they hear weird things.
Your average priceless seaweed.
No prizes for you this time, Lara. Ah well, use forward and left and right to move across the surface until you reach the shore. Then press action to climb out.
Of course, despite the fact that they're yelling there. Just can't quite hear them all that great. I guess it's based on the camera positioning. Just can't
Look
quite
for
pick up
a
the
lever
voices.
or pressure pad.
Oh, there you
must be
go.
one close by. When you find it, use action to activate it.
Yeah. I got it. There it goes.
You will catch your death in those clothes, my dear. A quick sprint up that ladder will dry you out again.
Such concern. I never knew you cared.
Dear Lara, you are a valuable asset to the quest.
You are romantic, you.
Yes, quite. Walk up to the ladder. Now press and hold action to climb up onto it. Keep this button pressed and use forward to climb to the top.
So I don't know if walking up, or climbing up rather, 12 feet of ladder is necessarily going to dry out drenched clothing, but yeah, sure.
There will be another lever.
Whatever
up
it
there.
takes to convince.
Pull it, then get back down here quickly. The quest is nearly at an end.
I get the feeling there's a little bit more left.
Swiftly across the vines now. Now press forward to swing across. Don't let go of action or you will again be for the plunge.
Wow, he grunted while words were coming out of his mouth. It's pretty talented skill. So, my original copy of this game I still have. I got it used. I got it at a place called Hastings, which is now a defunct company. But I remember getting it pretty cheap. See the cover on that thing. My God. Lara's bosom. It's quite pronounced. And my mom got it for me at the time, so she always had a issue when it came to like buxom women in like whatever media I had, whether it be movies or video games or comics. So I'm actually kind of surprised that she got it for me, but regardless, I still have that original copy. And case is cracked, disc wasn't all that great a condition. And that was the main problem I was having with it when I was going through, playing through some of the FMV sequences, or up to some of the FMV sequences. They started skipping around. And it just bugged me to the point where I'm like, I could probably do without playing this particular version, but I was kind of at a loss as to what I wanted to do, because I didn't necessarily want to do the PC version either. As much as I like the control scheme on the PC versions of these games, I kind of don't like the way they look. And just because I've been doing the PlayStation games with the past three, I was like, well, maybe I should try to be a little bit consistent. So I was taking a look at some stuff I could do. I was like, well, is there any like retrofitted visuals I could do for the PC, like in terms of modding or something like that? Didn't find anything I necessarily liked. It looks sharp, it looks clean, but yeah, I just wanted it to be consistent with the other games that I played. So ended up doing an emulated version, which is what we're doing now, and using CRT Royale with it. I think it looks pretty good.
I fear this must be opened internally. We must enter through the grate and be wary of snares.
I presume by we, you refer to me.
Yeah. My heavier frame may activate traps. You will pass unnoticed.
How convenient.
Also, yes, thanks, Mom. Going back to that, of course, of course. But yeah, I think I got it the way I want it to look, so I'm kind of happy with it.
Push forward to crawl into the gap. Be alert.
Also, a long time ago, like, boy, we have like settings that are dating back to a PC I made back in like 2012. But I had these driver rewriters that basically masked drivers for the DualShock 3 PlayStation controllers so that they would basically register as an Xbox 360 controller. So no need for any remapping or anything like that. It's all automatically keyed up. So I could just plug in my DS3 and play it as is, which is exceptionally good. I'd rather not be playing the Tomb Raider games with the Xbox controller. That's just personal preference. By the time we get to the remade trilogy, I'm not going to really have much of an option, considering that, what is it, Rise of the Tomb Raider I've got on the Xbox One, and then, while I do have the original release of the Tomb Raider remake on PS3, I also do have it on PC, so I think I'd rather do that one. Performance is probably like 10 times better. And then I've got Shadow of the Tomb Raider also on PC. Both the first and the third one are Steam releases, so I think by the time I get to those, I'm going to end up using the Xbox controller with that, but what can you do? Did I fix the cropping on this? Yes, I did. I remember having an issue where I think something about it, like, I forget the exact setting I did, but it would crop too far at the top and the bottom. I don't know. It's kind of annoying.
Ah, a backpack. Let us hope it does not hold the same luck for you as its previous owner.
Yeah, how
I
could you
make
tell?
my own luck, Werner. What now?
It's not even turned around to look at me.
Now it begins. The eyes of the ancients are upon us, and their vengeance is wrathful. We must move quickly. When running, press and hold sprint to gain extra speed.
Alright. You heard him. It's wrathful. Sprint button, crawl button. Walk, which is also sidestep. Oh yeah, L1 would be look, obviously. Time to run.
Dive through the gap. Dive through the gap. Press jump to perform a diving roll.
Oh. I ran out of stamina before I could jump. Oh well. Let's see what that looks like. There you go. I don't think the animation's any different from 3, but I don't think I did the diving roll at any point on stream in 3. Somebody was asking me a question about that before. Like, do you get extra jump when you run? Nah, it's just the roll.
So you found the Garden of the Five Towers. Well done, my child. To the right, the path of the heretical. To the left is the route of the virtuous.
I'm up for a little heresy.
Ooh, I think the heresy one is the more challenging one. All right. Again, I don't know what I did to constitute that. I'm imagining that they wouldn't just be punishing people with the harder difficulty at random, but whatever works. And it's not even anything like right this moment. It's like right when we get to the end. And usually, like it's there's a point where you have to like race to the finish, and yeah, the harder one gets a little shitty. And I usually like to win the race, but I don't know. I might just try to play it safe. I don't think it makes a huge difference anyway.
Now it becomes interesting, yeah? You see now, it is not for the weak of heart. How do you hold up, girl?
Oh, I think I could get used to this.
Oh, it looks like there is a bit of a difference here, because almost every time I played it, especially the first time I played this section, this is all the same. You do have to make the jump with the little rope in the middle there, but there's also a pool of water under here, so you don't, like, break your neck. But I guess when you go down the path of the heretical...
Push forward. Now press and hold action.
Ain't
When
no
you are
brakes
hanging
on this
from the
train.
ledge, hold down crawl to squeeze into the gap.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, hold up. I was turned in a different direction than I was originally. Squeeze. This guy likes to enunciate his words sometimes. Lord Sabo, welcome. Hello.
Swing across to the alcove. Jump from the ledge, then hold down action to grab the vine. To release, let go of action.
Okay. So this is something new, which I guess I forgot about because I wasn't really thinking about it, but the whole swinging thing is a little bit different. Not too much different if you've played any other, I don't know. It's not too much different from, let's say, Pitfall or something like that. No, I'm just kidding. But I think the problem for me when I was originally playing this game was I didn't know you could, like, jump off. So I always tried to, like, time it so I could just, like, let go at the right moment. That's not really what you need to do. Also, thank you, Lord Sabo. Appreciate it. It's awfully dark in here.
And now for the last. You are an exemplary student, Lara, although you have not yet learned the root of all adventuring, the craving to win, at whatever cost. I throw down the gauntlet to you, my child. Whoever is first to the iris claims the prize.
Watch your back, old man. I warn you, I'll pull no punches.
I expected no less. On the count of 3. 1, 2.
Slowly walk away. Alright, I might make a save here, and maybe we'll look at possibly reloading. I mean, it's probably in our best interest anyway, because I might end up dying on the heretical path. Who knows? All I remember is that I don't usually get this path, and every time I do, I always think it's shit, because it's a lot more difficult than the other one. But we'll see what it's like. Oh. Whoa. Okay, so already got spikes and whatnot. That's cool. I didn't even realize there was a gap there. So I don't know where to go. That's also another problem. Okay. I think another thing that he does, if he gets ahead of you, which is most times, he like locks doors and stuff. So that's always fun. My god, look at this. Whoa! Okay. Overshot it. Game over. That's rough. A little bit. Like I said, it's there's two different paths. The other one, which I don't know, I usually seem to get, that one's a lot easier. Oh god. I didn't anticipate that either. Overshot the jump. I guess that's another problem. But yeah, the other one, I don't think it's got any spikes or anything like that. It's got pits, basically, that just eat up your time. So if like you fall down one, you just have to climb your way out. Which isn't a huge deal because at the very least you're not dying. But yeah. I kind of wonder how he does it. It's not like he's stopping. Let's just try to play it safe, because I don't think I'm going to actually beat him in the race. The other part, though. Okay, so that's locked. But anyway. This... Oh, come on. Jesus. I had it sort of right at first. Don't jump on the edge. Jump from the back. That worked. Oh. Now I'm slipping up on the earlier parts. We'll get it eventually. I am curious, though. I'm going to probably look it up if I remember after I'm done with the stream, but I want to see what constitutes what path you end up taking. You know, the path of the heretical versus the path of the... I think it's the virtuous or something like that. She says another line, too. She's like, I'm a regular virtuoso. Or something along those lines. So this guy feigning all of his, like, old injuries and... Oh, I'm so old, I can't swim. Oh, look, we actually got to see him do it. I don't necessarily know if this is the way I need to go. It's a little bit dark. Open door. Shit. Damn, I was thinking of saving too. I was holding the R1 button, but I guess not hard enough, or maybe I pressed it after I started moving. I wanted to creep up on the edge. I think the way I went, though, think that was, if it was a shortcut, I don't know, but something happened because he was coming up behind us. I think I'm gonna go this way, even though I might be able to catch up with him. Okay. So he closes that door, it opens up this one. Ah, damn. I'm pressing like 2 different things at once. I was unconfident that she was gonna make it all the way. So I was holding down the action button, but she made it all the way. Guarantee this is probably harder than most anything in the first couple hours of the game. It took a while for that one to open up. Okay, so I went down here. Just sprint when I can. There are steps up there, but I don't know if that's like an alternative route. And I'm just going to make a save here because I can. It's like, what a relief. No longer having to deal with the save crystals. Although I got to say, at the end of Tomb Raider 3, I had, what did I have? Like 23 of them? So it wasn't that bad. I don't even know if I can make that jump. Jesus. Barely. Can't even see. That is dark. Left or right? A little hard to tell from this angle. I had a pretty good lead, but I guess that's over. Oh, dang.
I am not such an old man after all, yeah? Come here, child. The mechanism will require us both to release it.
The plinth inscription warns of vengeance on those who remove it.
Ah, ancient hocus pocus. Forget this nonsense and come over here.
I don't count poisoned darts and triggered entombment, your average Charles Tea Party. I feel we should lend this some respect.
Ah, and you are the world-famous archaeologist adventurer Lara Croft, yeah? No,
Yeah.
no, I am the renowned archaeologist adventurer Werner von Croy, and you will do as I say. Go to the wall and pull the lever.
What was it you said? Disrespect is the route to carelessness?
I am weary of this. Pull the lever now, Miss Croft.
He did cheat. Wow.
On your head be it.
He started a second earlier than he should have. And he He was also like shutting doors on me and whatnot, but oh well. I won't hold it against him. The only difference is like Lara says something like, in the time it took you to come here, I was reading this deal. But I think the rest of the scene is exactly the same. I don't know if it has any like effects late in the game though.
And you will learn more than simple.
You were saying?
My leg! My leg! I am trapped! My leg is trapped! Help me, Lara! Help me!
Hold on! I'm coming back to get you! Werner!
Well, rip Werner. And we never saw him again. Well, now that's a little more horrifying. There we go. Now we're in the present day. Looks fun. What, the old sand slip and slide? I'm gonna venture out to Egypt one day, see if I can find one of those. This guy has such big eyes. Hey, thank you, Daller. Appreciate it. Okay, so we gotta dig around here because there's a number of things that are just kind of lying around this area. I think we even... Let me see. Yeah, there's like a couple flares up here. That's pretty good. I do want to make a save because unlike the previous games, it's not... I mean, it is level-based, but it's not... You can't like go back and restart at particular levels, which is probably for the best because that way you don't run into any like game-breaking bugs like we ran into with Tomb Raider 3. But at least you can save wherever you want, so that's fun. But yeah, I think if you die or something or you're stuck, yeah, there isn't even like a restart level. It's strictly based off of the game saves. So you gotta watch yourself, and you gotta make sure you got enough room on your memory card. I was running out on my previous one. I think I might have had, like, I don't know, enough space for 2 save slots, but not much. Certainly not much. It's a full-on shotgun. That's a pretty damn good item just to get right off the bat. Not nearly as complicated as getting the one in Tomb Raider 3 also. Wide shot ammo. Alright, so we have different types of ammunition too. I'll stick with the pistols for right now. Oh, but I am! This is an emulator! It just has CRT filters. Ah, we already got, like, ammunition. But yeah, I have, like, a full empty memory card. Oh god. Hold up. Guide, do something. There's still poison effects in this game too, so you gotta watch out for stupid shit like that. Might end up screwing yourself. And look how fancy those first aid kits look. All of the items look so much better. But anyway, yeah, it's a shame Bullets isn't here. He can't, like, revel in the fact that this is emulated version. Let's see if the flare button still, or combo still works. Yes, it does. Very nice. Castlevania Lord of Shadows fun. You're enjoying it? That's good. I mentioned it to... I don't remember if I mentioned it on this stream or yours, but I streamed that for like 4 hours. And then I just put it down and I'm like, nah. I don't think I want to do this. And it wasn't that it was like hard or anything along those lines. It just, I don't know. I wasn't in the mood for it. I'll say I got bored with it, but genuinely I just was not in the mood for it. I think I played a lot of God of War clones, and that one kind of just had poor timing. But yeah, it's a decent game. Outside of those big bosses. Even I remember those being a little bit shitty. Like a combination of God of War and then Shadow of the Colossus, but not nearly as fun as either one of those games' bosses. There's some big-ass first aid kits, too. I like that she switched to the... what would you even call them? The snappable flares? I don't know. Something's interesting about, like, the phosphorus or whatever type flares, but I do like the little breakable ones, too. And I think they actually last longer than they do in Tomb Raider 3 as well. We might have Tomb Raider 2 length flares in this game. Bullets is standing outside of GameStop right now, like, this is bullshit. I'm banned for life for speaking the truth, man. Oh, look what you did. Two big-ass red scorpions. This guy does not give a shit. Let's see, we got some holes to reach into. I don't think I could do this one, though, because the tiles are all upset. Emulation certainly does have its advantages, but it's not always preferable. But I just don't see what sense there is in getting upset over it. I do wonder if he came back, though, if he'd still bitch and moan because I've got CRT filters. Because I think that was his main problem. I think he thought I was streaming at 240p, like what the PlayStation normally outputs at. But no, it was 720, like true 720. It's just I had the scan lines on it. Also, that was intentional. Look at that. Also, we could admire the Lara's model in this one. Much improved from Tomb Raider 3, I think. She no longer looks like an alien in the facial region. For some reason, the shirt is so tight that you could see every outline. And then you even see like the singlet. It's all tucked in there. So props to them. More importantly, though, she doesn't have any like visible limb lines. Like her limbs don't clip with each other. It's all pretty much seamless. So they definitely put some time and care and attention into that. But alright, that's enough. My opinion, peak Lara Croft right here. She never looked better. Well, at least for the core games. I don't think he thought that deep into it. You're probably right. Honestly, I don't even know what the cloud emote like means. It's just there. Let's make a save here because I remember this area coming up is a little weird. Honestly, though, I'd like to get a look at her face in-game. Because it actually really does look a lot better than it did in 3. She looked weird in 3. She looked like the doppelganger, like E.T., the skinless E.T., but with flesh. And you'd think, like, the Tomb Raider 1 model would look like that, but no, it's like 3 was a spitting image. She just had skin. And that was the only difference. Also, that was the shitty thing I remember. There's like these giant rotating spikes that come above you. I want to see the face shot. It's just... I guess we'll see it when we see it. There's got to be some point where it happens. Whoa! Okay, we'll see. It's a good reason. Oh my god. Not only did she get spiked, not only was she impaled on the spikes there, but she got thrown off and broke her neck. That thing comes around quick. I thought there was a bigger delay with it, but I guess not. I think there's a couple other moments. It's a thing that happens a lot in the Tomb Raider games. I think it happened as early as maybe even the first one. Definitely by 2, but for some reason, like when you pull a switch and then there's a camera cutaway to, you know, whatever the switch interacts with, if you roll, she'll turn around, but the camera will still be like real close in, as if it was on her back. But she'll just be facing the front. So you get a good look at her chest, I guess. Sometimes you get some good face shots in there. I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of Castlevania, Dale, you got the PS2. What was the name of the game? Lament of Innocence or something like that. So, do you plan on streaming that next, or is it going to be a while before you pick that one up? You know, when Strad said when he sprayed poison on the weeds, 5 minutes later they're brown. Those probably made it hot. But yes. Although recently, I gotta say, I got a weed burner. Yeah, I love that thing. I just hook a little propane tank up to it, light it, just burn everything in sight. But it's a controlled burn. Ow. Oh, hey, another thing I love is that you no longer have to release the action button when switching targets. It used to be that in like Tomb Raider 2 and 3, I think, she just keeps shooting in the same old direction she was shooting in before. She wouldn't like lock on to a new target. So you'd have to release the button. I know it doesn't sound like a huge inconvenience, but it sure as hell felt like it sometimes. You haven't tried it yet. Want to dig into shadows first. Torch weeds, but it makes the rocks black. I don't care about making the rocks black. Just give them a little kick. Turn them around. Oh, I always thought that was fire down there. Maybe it lights up. Doesn't even really look like scorpions. Something's wrong with the tails. I don't know. Oh, wow. Full-on Uzis. Only got 30 ammo for it, though. Not that great. Good thing about Torchdom, though, is they definitely don't come back. I don't know. Sometimes they use those weed killers. and then they just pop up like a week later. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Why are we talking about weeds? Oh. Yeah, that seems pretty lethal. I think maybe we want to avoid the squares. Try doing a hair transplant in your rock driveway. Weeds, plant them in the bald spots in the yard. Alright, we got the other one. I don't know if this is another section where we could do the camera zoom in. Yeah. Mainly because I don't think there's a cutaway, which there isn't. Here's something new. We can combine pieces of things with other things. Make whole things. You'd rather talk about weeds than Final Fantasy 13? We don't have to talk about Final Fantasy 13. I know we had a deep discussion about it last stream, but it's not like it's a favorite topic of mine either. I think we just share an equal resentment for it. Whoa. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just shooting through you to get that jackal. Oh, hey, enemies fade away in this one, too. That's kind of weird. I guess maybe that means they can, you know, if there's not like a huge body count, maybe they can up the amount of polygons that are actually in the map. A lot of this looks great, though. Like all this lighting and the textures. Everything looks neat. I definitely think the visual enhancement in this game is just leaps and bounds over the previous three. Even though the previous three had their moments where they look great, I don't know. They don't. Something about this game I think works so much better. Even probably more than 5. I don't know. I don't remember loving a lot of spots in Chronicles, though. I mean, compared to the original 3, they probably looked better. I don't know. I think probably the corporation building, whatever it is, at the end of the game probably looks better than London in 3, but I'd need to go back and play it. Yeah, there's something down there too. game we shall not speak of. It doesn't exist. You just watch one of these days. One of these days I'm gonna end up streaming it. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, maybe not even this decade, but if I'm still streaming, at some point I'm probably gonna end up getting to it. I haven't necessarily been making my way through the Final Fantasy games, but I've done, what have I done? I've done 10, I've done 9, I've done 12, I've done 7. Thinking about doing 8. And then we got a whole, like, 1 through 6. And I streamed a little bit of 15. I know it's not a full start to finish, like, doesn't necessarily count, but... one of these days... there's a gate blocking that way, okay. There's that other path that we saw, so... we need to do something with that, make him get out. What's down there? If this was Tomb Raider 3, there had been like a rock that would have come to squash me from the heavens as soon as I picked up that med kit. That's gasoline or something. I don't know. Petroleum. Just want to see that there's nothing in here before I leave. I don't think there is. Pretty sure he lights it. There he goes. So dramatic. Doesn't just light on fire, it turns into magma. Okay, something about this. I remember there being like flames that shoot up out of the ground, so I think we might want to watch it. Actually, let me go back here. Because those gates open up. I think there's something down here. Oh, there's a full-on shotgun down here. I guess if you missed it in like the opening minute of this level. There's a chance for another one. Okay. There we go. What the hell is that? The Timeless Sands. Yeah. Of course, we ain't spelling out God's name. I was just picking random symbols out of a deal, but... This one had a couple. I mean, held like the petroleum bay type deal. That's a bit Indiana Jones like too. I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about Tomb Raider. The whole game is like basically an Indiana Jones copy, but still, it's always surprising when you get like the specific moments that are very similar to the movies. There's that one, and I missed it on stream. I ended up going back and getting it, but there's one in Tomb Raider 2 where it's like the invisible bridge. It's Indy with a great ass. Okay. Yeah, especially in Tomb Raider 4. Jesus. She's got them tight shorts. Also, who's to say Harrison Ford doesn't have one, huh? We never really get a good look at it. But much like Lara, everybody's focused on his chest. Oh, you know what? It's a little dark. Just making sure. Hopefully she could get a good hold on these too. I remember specifically with Tomb Raider 3, I had the most problems holding onto flares and trying to grip onto walls or climb onto other things. Oh yeah, I was just talking about that, like right as you were coming in, but the flares seem better than 3. Maybe not as long as 2 though, maybe like just under 2. But I mean, you saw what they were like in 3. You get a lot in 3, so there's that. There are moments where it feels like you're gonna run out, but you always seem to find some. So that's the only saving grace when it comes to Tomb Raider 3. But they're so short. It's like 10 seconds, like literally 10 seconds. Like if you're counting 1, 2, 3, and then you reach 10, and then it's out. This one seems a little bit longer. Maybe 15? I don't know. Oh, see, she was too busy tossing the flare that time. She didn't grab onto the wall. I was trying to get her to. So I guess it's still a thing if she's doing something with the flare. She doesn't take her own health into consideration. Yeah, 3's like a spark, basically. And then it's out. I remember when I originally played this game, I freaked out when he left. I'm like, oh no. Don't leave me alone. I've said it with several of the Tomb Raider games before. Oh god. But the series, it really rides that border of being a horror game. You got the stopwatch ready? Okay. Here, check this. I'm gonna light it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see how long that lasts. Meanwhile, trying to get a look at the bottom there. Those are some tight shorts. They're even riding up a little bit. Look at her legs, though. No seams on the joints. Same thing with the arms. And the torso. I used to see it all the time. And there it goes. Like, her own stomach would clip with her, like, waist. Not waist, but, like, I don't know. Like, her belt line. It was weird. We saw that a lot in 3. Oh, I think I put that thing there. Let's see. You had friends in school who were able to play Resident Evil 2, but Tomb Raider was too spooky for them. There's a certain amount of camp in Resident Evil, especially the first 3 on the PlayStation, though I gotta say 3 probably is one of the most effective as a pure horror game. I think it's very tense, especially when you got the Nemesis chasing you around. But I think there's enough, like, character interaction and, like, cutscenes and just kind of, like, the overall goofiness tone of some of the zombies and whatnot that make it a bit more of a lighthearted affair. But like with Tomb Raider, you know, you're a lot of the time you're just alone and supernatural forces after you. It's relatively grounded, so it has a much eerier vibe, I think. But also, Radium, welcome to the stream. I don't think we've chatted with you here before, but welcome. Exactly 30 seconds from the toss of light before she tosses it. Okay, well, that's pretty good. 30 seconds isn't bad. I'm not joking when I think it might be 10 seconds long in Tomb Raider 3. I don't know. We'll have to go back and look at some point, right? But yeah, frustratingly short, the flares in Tomb Raider 3, especially if you're underwater, which there's some big underwater sections, especially in the London area. Really bad. It doesn't make as much of a difference when you're playing the PC version, just because it's so much easier to see with those. But especially doing the PlayStation version, that is not fun. And I'm usually the proponent of like, it's dark, I get it, you know. You're meant to use the flares. That's perfectly fine in most circumstances, but yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating with that one. Okay, so now that all the sand cleared out here, I wonder if there's anything we can pick up. Most of this kind of looks the same. I know that we gotta go in the mouth. That looks weird. But I guess most of the stuff looks like it's already stuff we had access to before. I guess the majority of the sand was just in front of the face. I don't know how many flares I got either. Huh? 31, that's not bad. I only picked up 2 at the beginning. I don't think I picked up another box. I mean, she probably had some to begin with when the level started, but that's quite a few. That was dark. Alright. Start of a new level. I'll save in a second here. I think this is when we start getting into some traps. I don't think anything too horrible happens right off the bat. They're kind of fair with it. The difficulty curve isn't nearly as drastic as it is with the previous 2. Oh, yeah. There you go. Can't move these, can I? No. Might as well try the other one. I don't know. It looks unique. Also, that's fairly, I mean, that's complex. We didn't really see statues or anything like that in any of the previous games. Uh-oh. Trumpets, that signifies danger. Well, what do you know? There's actually something in it. Grilled some steaks today out in the heat. Ugh. Everybody always wants to barbecue in the summer. It's just like adding to the heat. I'm like, I'll just do it indoors. to step back, almost cremated yourself, say. Can't resist the meat, though. We got a pretty good barbecue here. So usually if I'm craving barbecue in the summertime, I tend to just go there. After all that. Well, at least we got a health kit. Speaking of which, I think I'm due to go back to Rudy's at some point. Some point soon. I feel like having some brisket. At least I didn't take any damage. Ugh. Well, rip ammo. I ain't going back to get that. Legs having a couple issues trying to get rendered there. Got some ribs, gonna slow smoke molder. Temp gauge. Monitor. Trying to think of what a moiter is. You're gonna do it from the window? Might as well. Stay indoors. But still have the convenience of barbecue. Just get a really long stick. Okay, I know we gotta go get the thing that's on top of the sarcophagus, but I want to... There's something down here. Yeah, monitor, okay. Ah, here it is. Secret, too. Just ammunition and a health kit, but that ain't bad, I suppose. Can't expect him to be getting any god weapons this early in the game. I think there's another small health kit up here, too. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Let's go back. There we go. There's an FMV showing like the, I don't know if you call it the creation of this sarcophagus, but I remember that freaked me out when I was a kid. I don't know if that one freaked me out or I just thought it was gross. There was another one that freaked me out where there was like this like reptile looking thing with glowing eyes in the dark, and I thought that was creepy. But as soon as you remove the relic, amulet, what do they call it? Let's see what this is. The Amulet of Hours. As soon as you remove that, then like all this blood starts flowing. And then it fills up these pools. And it's really gross. You can take a dip in there if you want. But also you don't have access to the tunnel under here. Also, hopefully, I mean, never can say for sure when I'm going to be streaming, but yeah, I at least plan to. Definitely Sunday for sure. Sunday I want to try to do Ocarina. Finish that up. Probably get on Majora sometime next week. Oh. Well, I guess we could push it this way. I remember this used to confuse me as a kid too. I didn't know what the hell you had to do here. I didn't realize that the things at the bottom had anything to do with anything. Taking tomorrow night off, picking back up Sunday. On your streams, are you going to do more Castlevania? I was thinking about taking a break tonight, especially considering how late I was starting. I don't usually start this late. But I don't know. I really wanted to start this game, and considering that we just started Mass Effect 2, I didn't want to skimp early on with that game. Look at that mummy, though. That mummy looks great. I know there's got to be some people that are like, what the hell are you talking about? All this stuff looks shitty. But I mean, you gotta cast your mind back to the time. I even think nowadays, like, so many indie developers try to get that PlayStation graphic feel, and I feel like Last Revelation was one of those games that was sort of peak and top of its era. Maybe it wasn't as good as, you know, what Squaresoft was doing at the time, like Final Fantasy IX or the Vagrant story or anything like that, but it was pretty damn slick looking. More Trumpets of Doom. We got something coming up here. Oh, there it is. Also not sure. Got a buddy picking up Metal Gear Survive. He's like, hey, can you help me? I can't turn down a request like that, now can you? In fact, there are specific mummies that, if killed with grenade launchers via the cheats, will hard crash the game. Oh, wow. Let's not do that. I'm assuming there's still, like, some button combination cheat sequences that you could do to unlock all weapons. I think they've had that with pretty much every other one prior to this. Happens on every version of the game you tried, PS1, Dreamcast, and PC. Almost forgot there was a Dreamcast version, but I was looking up alternatives recently. I'm like, what version do I want to play if I can't do the PlayStation one? And then I remember that the Dreamcast had Last Revelation and Chronicles. I was thinking about picking one of those up. I don't know what I'm going to do about Chronicles. That game gave me trouble when I originally played it, when I first bought it. And that one I bought new. That wasn't one that I picked up used back in the 90s. But that one I got new, and then I accidentally threw my PlayStation into the air. And I think it damaged the disc, but I've had it resurface since then, so kind of crossing our fingers here, hoping that it's going to work. But I also kind of have to have a contingency in play, possibly. Dreamcast controls are really bad. I guess that's not surprising. I'm not too fond of the Dreamcast controller in most instances, but the games that I primarily played on there have been RPGs, so it hasn't really been much of an issue. I guess D2 wasn't really an RPG, was it? It was slow, so it had that going for it. I did. Were you there when I was telling that story? It wasn't much of a story, but that's how it happened. I accidentally threw the console in the air. It was like the end of the day. I'm like, I'm gonna relax, play a little bit of Tomb Raider, plug the controller in, and then I leapt back onto my bed, controller in hand, and the controller yanked on the console, and the console went up about like 4 or 5 feet in the air and came crashing down. And that's why I never beat Tomb Raider Chronicles, because it didn't play after that. Although since then I put it into the PS3 and it seems to work, but I haven't gotten to the end of the game because I just haven't put the time in to play it. So I don't actually know if it works. The part I was at was the last levels with the whole stealing corporate secrets business. And I think I was literally like on one of the last 2 levels, and then that happened. So it wasn't fun. To this day, I still don't know how Tomb Raider Chronicles finishes. I think maybe, possibly, I watched the cutscene via Game Shark. Like with the old Game Shark, so you could like dig up the FMVs and watch them independently. I thought that was like the coolest thing at the time. But other than that, yeah, I don't think I've actually seen the end of that game. See ya, suckers. I don't even know what the hell I got. What is this? The Golden Serpent. Uh-oh. Shit. I was not in the right position for that. Oh, God. How many health hits do I have? Okay. 13, that's plenty. Let's see. I'm kind of curious, though, what the Dreamcast controls would be like. So I played almost every version. Love the keyboard controls of the PC. But now I'm kind of curious to see what they're like. I mean, the good thing about Tomb Raider is that primarily the movement is grid-based. I know there's a little bit more leeway than like a real strict grid-based movement, but you can kind of work around it. You just have to get like the right finesse with the controller. But the Dreamcast controller is a little bit clunky too, so I don't know if that just negates everything or what. I wish they could make a Dreamcast or Jaguar Mini consoles that you never had. Yeah. Actually, not many people have the Dreamcast, as far as I know. In terms of people that I actually know. I know maybe like one guy that had it growing up, but that was it. There's some good games on there. I mean, a lot of them did end up getting ported, but there's still some stuff that is like exclusive to the Dreamcast, or the Dreamcast had what some people consider like superior versions, so. Thumbstick for running, D-pad for walking, right trigger for sprinting, left trigger for looking. That's kind of weird too, because it wouldn't have had the bumpers like the PlayStation did, because it just has the triggers. You got your face buttons. The runnings to me seems like it'd be the biggest problem, because as we've noted with the analog controls, at least as far as analog sticks go, they ain't so great. And I'm not saying that maybe somebody didn't go through and program it a little bit better for the Dreamcast, but if they couldn't do that with the main console that they were making the game for, which was the PlayStation, supposedly, then I kind of have doubts the Dreamcast would have been all that great either. I do not like using analog sticks for the core games. It never felt right to me. I think one time I got the controls working with the PC version using Joyta key, and I got the dead zones just right where it sort of felt right, but it was still off enough that I didn't enjoy it. Your boss in the 90s kept talking about the Dreamcast. You're just waiting for the PS2. didn't want to drop down that other hole, but this looks like it's going somewhere else completely different. Oh, you know what? We might need another object for this. She's not interacting with it like she normally would, but something's there. People that own the Dreamcast always spoke really highly of it. Like every time I see a like message board or forum or something on it, people that owned it always talk about how great it was. And I mean, I own one now. I don't have many games for it, but what I have played has been pretty good. Love Skies of Arcadia. Oh god. Love Skies of Arcadia, anyway. I don't know that Have I streamed any? No, I streamed Cannon Spike once. I don't own that game, but I burned it onto a CD. Oh, I did the Shenmue games, too. So, there you go. That was the other RPGs I was thinking of. Even if they're not really... they're kind of RPGs, but not really. Not, I guess, in the hardest sense of the word. But, still, sort of slower-paced games. Didn't think I had as many games, like almost as many as I said. The Saturn deceptively had a decent library. I want to say it might have even been better than the Dreamcast itself. The thing is, the Dreamcast had such a short lifespan, and I think it was the same for the Saturn, but especially so for the Dreamcast. I don't know. I think I shared with you that list of like the 100 best Dreamcast games, supposedly, though. There wasn't a hell of a whole lot on there that I recognized, but that's kind of what I was going off of when I was trying to pick out some games for my Dreamcast library. Yeah, unfortunately they abandoned it relatively quickly. Sega did. But the potential was there, and that was what was exciting about it, as you said. I think at the time. But still, people still think very highly of the games that it did have. And I do think that it had a decent library. What could have been ended up going to the Xbox, though. You had a lot of very unique, like, Sega games that ended up going to the Xbox, and along with some other stuff, like From Software's Otogi games. Those ended up going to the Xbox. Lots of weird Sega stuff. That's where he had Jet Set Radio Future. A couple other things. Valkyrie something. I can't remember the names of all of them now, but at least some of the stuff found a home. Saturn had a lot of Japanese games. You don't know about US? Yeah, that's true. You're probably right about that. I think the bulk of the library ended up being native to Japan, not necessarily got a port. You had some stuff, though. I think Panzer Dragoon ended up getting released. There's a few things. Like there was like an X-Men versus Street Fighter? I don't remember now. Something on there. Still, I think a handful of games got published at the very least. Probably not super exciting. I do remember that, I think both with the Saturn and the Dreamcast, you could burn games onto like just DVD-Rs. So I remember a kid who had I think he had both of them, but he had like a load, like a stack of games. Like you ever get those burnable CDs on a spool? He had like the full spool, just game after game, and he didn't even know what was on all of them. Sometimes I go over there and we just like check it out. We just like pop in a new game. Let's see what this is. Oh, this one's in Japanese? Okay. We didn't know what the heck was going on, but we still sort of played through them. Super Hang-On looked good. You know, the one of the things about the Dreamcast in particular, I don't remember if it was the same for the Saturn, but there was a lot of arcade ports on there, which was interesting. Just like the Cannon Spike, like I just mentioned, that was an arcade game. I don't think it ever got a port anywhere else. Obviously, there was stuff like Marvel vs. Capcom. I think Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in particular was on the Dreamcast. Eventually that would get a PS2 release, but still, there was a lot of arcade games. I think on the Saturn, that was like the only release ever of the original House of the Dead. So that's kind of interesting. I had a coworker of mine that was looking for that, and I'm like, well, it exists, but you gotta have, one, you have to have a Saturn, and two, you have to be willing to shell out like $100 to buy the game. I don't think he ever ended up doing it. Just enough. Oh, that's right, Code Veronica, which I have. I actually snagged that before it started getting real expensive on the Dreamcast, and it was always my intention to stream it. I just didn't. So now that you reminded me, I feel almost obligated to do it soon, before I forget about it again. I've got the digital version on the PS2, but I didn't want to do that one. I gotta do the Dreamcast version soon before the battery runs out on the little memory stick. Because I don't really feel like buying a new one, and who knows how long batteries like that are going to be manufactured. Probably not too much longer. I think this flare's about now. Okay, shit. Here, let me get up, toss the flare so I can drop down. There you go. Oh, that didn't open. What the hell did we open then? I thought we opened up something. Maybe there was another door. You were pissed back in the day? Like, why isn't this on PS2? Sometimes it can be frustrating. When he had hard exclusivity, like he did back in the day. It took a while for some stuff to get on there. I think it ended up getting a GameCube release, too. I don't know if that one was on Xbox, though. I don't think that wasn't one that was on Xbox. You had, like, the PS2 release and the GameCube release later on, and then you had it re-released on PS3. Maybe something else, I'm not too sure. Ah, here we go. I guess that's what we're looking for. You know, you have it on like 4 consoles. Yeah, same here. It's a good game for the most part. I'm not always enthusiastic. Like every time it's time to start up Chris's section of the game, it's like a groan from me. I'm like, ugh. Can't we just stick with Claire? But still, it's fun. In some ways, it's like peak classic Resident Evil. It was before we had the big change with Resident Evil 4. I think I need to go down there. Was there? Okay, there was definitely a plane segment with Claire. I don't remember if it was with Chris, but a lot of Chris's segment is just Claire's segment over again. It was basically, you know, like Resident Evil 2, where you had Leon and Claire, but instead of being able to choose when and how you do it, it just forced it on you. So I guess that was the part that kind of wasn't as fun. Yeah, like the plane... It's not too long after the plane segment that you get to Chris, I think. I don't remember. I think he maybe he had to do the Antarctic segment for a little bit, but it wasn't too much longer after that. But like every time I get to Chris's segment, I just feel like stopping playing the game. I'm just like, nah. I don't think I want to do this. Climbing Ice Mountain. Yeah, that's pretty close to the end of the game. I think, anyway. It's been a while since I played it all the way through. I played it a little bit, like I think until I got to Chris, actually, thinking about it. On the Dreamcast version that I got, when I got that, I tested it out just to make sure both discs worked. But by the time I got to the second disc, I'm like, yes, I'm good. We could stop here. That's where he gave up. You just got tired of it, or did you just not like, or think it was too hard or something? Though the PS2 edition is supposed to be like the definitive version. I think it adds things. I don't remember. Oh, well. You just grip onto that, huh? What was it that I got, too? The Hand of Sirius? Ye old mummy. I guess we still need to get that, too. Well, one of these days. Maybe I'll do it this October. Though I've got... Oh, shit. I didn't even see him there. Good lord. He blends in so well. But I've just had so many things in mind that I wanted to do this October. You give up a lot, kind of your thing. Alright, so you got two things going on. You spend too much money on stuff, and you give up on them. As attributed by yourself. I'm not trying to slight you here. How do I get over there? It's important to have goals in life. Yes, you're right. So I think that's the thing I need to get to. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. This deal. Alright, so that's where the star goes. I was thinking that went back to the sand pit that we saw earlier. So did that make... Oh, it dropped a rope. Alright. Spend more than you should and give up. Probably the best goals you can have. Other way. Makes me nervous about all this stuff, though. See those stars at the top and the bottom there? I don't exactly feel like waiting around. The Scarab Talisman. Okay. Well, maybe that goes in the sand deal. Shit. Anybody else? Or are we good? Got some spooky deals going on over here. Oh, shit. Speaking of giving up, did you ever beat this game? As I've stated several times before when I originally played through this, I don't remember if I used the Game Shark or if I used the in-game cheats. I don't know, you know, I remember using level skip a lot. I skipped a ton of levels, but I don't think I ever knew how to do the unlockable weapons ones, because that was the biggest problem I ran into. I'd skip a level from the beginning, but then I wouldn't have any items, and then I would just die. So that ended up being a problem. You didn't play this one that much? Dang. I'm surprised. I thought we were talking about this one. We were having a riot, talking about the good old days. I love this game. It was just way too hard for me as a kid. As would be the case with all other Tomb Raiders. They really were more geared towards adults that played video games. I think you could ever kill these things, so I don't feel like wasting ammunition on it. You got it right before Chronicles and played the shit out of Chronicles. See, it's funny. I mentioned it several times before, but just for the sake of people that might be listening for the first time, I think you and me are like the only people that like Chronicles. Every time I talk about Chronicles or see people talk about Chronicles, it always gets shit on. And I always liked Chronicles. I don't think I liked it more than Last Revelation, but I thought it was a decent game. We'll see just how good it is when I get to it after finishing this one. But this I thought was phenomenal, and replaying it while going through the original 3 Tomb Raiders, this one seems to stand out above the rest.
I, Semaket, High Priest of Horus, forewarn that he who removes
the amulet shall have released Set. He who walked abroad with the jackals at the dawn of man shall once again violate the earth. Set, ruler of evil, will again be free at the turn of the distant millennia. At his heel, plagues and locusts.
Harvests fail under the broken skies. My trusty companion returns.
The amulet, woman!
Once called forth, shall the heavens split asunder, and the light of the sun, god Horus, banish the Lord of Darkness, Set.
How convenient.
I wouldn't advise it.
So yeah, I think that was the cutscene that I was talking about before. It's kind of freaky visuals, but very cool. Also, you never understand why people don't like Chronicles. Must be because they were burnt. I think that definitely probably had something to do with it. Definitely, probably. But series fatigue was probably really a thing back then. I mean, we were getting games released annually, and I guess people keeping up with the series probably just got a little sick of it. The games, I mean, they definitely feel different with each installment, but I don't think they're different enough that some people would feel like they'd want to play through a new one, I guess. I don't know. I remember this being a bit more of a combat intensive area. Maybe I should use a shotgun since we have so much ammunition. But anyway, I feel like for the most part, Last Revelation kind of blended. It was more like what they were trying to do with 3, where it blended the puzzle aspect and the action aspect of the games. I feel like Last Revelation was probably like the perfect blend of everything that could make a Tomb Raider game. And I think some people didn't like the fact that this game didn't globetrot like the previous ones did. But I feel like having a consistent locale like this kind of helped. In the long run. Now that we've killed like 17 guys, we gotta go reap the rewards. Fortunately, I don't think these guys take off until you actually get into the jeeps, so don't really have anything to worry about. Ah, yes, you need the key too. This is for some people it might be surprising, but I remember getting stuck with this level too because I didn't know that she had to use the key on the actual jeep. I think I was trying to do something different with it. Or maybe I didn't find the key. I don't remember what it was necessarily, but I remember getting stuck on this level because I didn't know what to do. So either I didn't know that you had to use the key on the truck, or I didn't realize there was a key to be picked up. It's probably the latter, actually. Because I feel like I would have probably tried to interact with the truck at some point. Okay. I think that's everything. Let's make a save before we get into this, because sometimes these vehicle segments can get a little treacherous. Great music, though. I think it's called Jeep Thrills, this track coming up. Ah, yes. They throw a grenade at you taking off. Alright, I need to see what the controls were. This would almost feel pretty unique, but we did have the ATV in Tomb Raider 3, so I guess it's not terribly unique. I'm also real nervous because I remember a lot of holes in the ground. I got a recording of this when I was testing out the PlayStation version of this game before, but if you keep up with the truck, and you get onto that upper level there, you can, like, go ahead of it, and then it just stops on the ground. And it doesn't move forward. I don't think there's anything you could do unless you just go so far ahead of it, it registers that you've passed it, or I guess it registers that you're behind it. I don't know. But you can make it stop in its tracks. Can't do anything with it. I tried shooting at it. Just got stuck there. They still throw bombs at you. Ow. Oh, there we go. Come on, move it. Shit. Oh, this is cool. Yeah! You swear there's a train level in this that people said was the best level in any Tomb Raider? I've never played it, but you've heard. I don't remember that. Granted, I don't remember every level in this game, but I don't remember if I could be blending in with so many other things too. Because around when I played this game was the first time I played GoldenEye as well, and that had a train level. I guess probably not the best place to stop and get out. You've seen it. It's a moving train. You gotta jump car to car. I can kind of picture it, but... I mean, I guess it would have to be in this one, though. Because I played 1 through 3, and it definitely wasn't in those. And it definitely wasn't in Chronicles. Chronicles had kind of strict themes with their levels. Like, once you got to a place, there wasn't a ton of variation with it. But, like, I can kind of picture it, though. Train levels are kind of big back in the day, weren't they? Don't really have them anymore, unfortunately. I'm trying to think of the last game I played that had a train level on it. I'm just thinking of, like, the horrible nightmare that was, Shadows of the Empire. That's a train level I don't really appreciate. Maybe some people like it, but I was never a big fan of that one. Oop. That's not what I want to look at. Nope. Okay. There's something down here. A bit of ammo. Thinking about it, GoldenEye was actually kind of hard for train level too. Just loads and loads of enemies. And then the last little bit there where you have to like drop out the floor, that ain't too fun either. Okay, I don't think I need to go that way. Oh. Ooh, that was not enough momentum. Hey, look at that background. It almost doesn't look like a crusty JPEG. I got the moving skies, too. I know you're a big fan of that, Daler. That one looks a little crustier on that end. I guess you could see more of this one, so they decided to put that one in the more visible spot. Oh, what an inconvenient switch. It's like real life, man. Got the sky moving. I'm save here because if I die in the next area, I don't want to be flipping no switches. We still have to use the key. Realer than real, you bet. Did a great job avoiding those spike balls. This looks like the things from Ocarina we just saw in the water dungeon. going. What the hell? Whoa! Oh. Just goofing around, gonna get shot. I guess he went this way. I lost track of him. Ah. Here we go. Damn, I probably didn't need to use that health kit.
Fools! The Croft woman has outsmarted you, yeah? And now she escapes. The amulet, Herr von Croy. It talks of the priest, Simmerkit. Simmerkit.
He's back, yay. Need our villainous German. Yeah, no, the cutscenes are definitely more. They're a lot more complex. But yeah, we're talking about that with the FMV sequences. And it's not like we haven't seen chase sequences in the previous game's FMV sequences, but they're, like I said, more complex. There's more stuff going on.
My faithful friend.
I fear this is not a social visit?
Only if you want Von Croy gate-crashing the party.
Von Croy?
I think he was looking for this.
The Amulet of Hours. An almost legendary artifact. So,
legendary.
you have found and opened the tomb of Set. This doesn't bode well. Translating from the Hebrew, he who removes the amulet shall once more release the dark power of Set. And Set saith, I am the shadow across the sun. I am the bringer of plagues. My wrath will consume all lands and shall be ceaseless.
The power to summon the sun god Horus to rebind the evil Set shall only be revealed to the bearer of the amulet within the temple of Simmerkit at Karnak.
The ceremony is complete as the armor of Horus summons the sun god. The armor of Horus. At the dig site in Alexandria, my men talk fearfully of this.
The armor must also be Von Croy's goal.
Only one so ignorant of the prophecies would dabble with such a prehistoric evil. Ah, yes. Releasing Set. But how could you have known, my dear?
Time to put things right and remove a thorn in my side in the process.
She's gonna kill again. I like that we have a stronger narrative structure, though. One of my biggest complaints with Tomb Raider 3 was it wasn't even like the lack of a narrative, but it just inconsistent. Like, stuff didn't always make sense, and I wish it did. He's up there, Lara. Drunk driver. She's a little rough behind the wheel, but I guess that's what happens when you slide down a sand cliff. But yeah, anyway, great levels of Tomb Raider 3. I just, you know, the start of the levels and the end, I wish there was a better transition, or at least something. I mean, you know, she ends up in an alien spacecraft at Area 51, and then you finish the level, and it's just like, choose your next adventure. It's like, oh, you're not going to show us how she got out of there? It seems like quite a predicament. So my personal headcanon is that she absconded with the spacecraft and she just flew it out of there and she crashed into the Pacific. And that's how she got there. Shit. But we didn't really have much of a motivation behind Wilfred. Like, he seemed like a friendly chap. And then he just went nuts because he wanted to advance human evolution. But we didn't really have any additional motivation for him. It was kind of weird. Just sort of like a snap change in character. Also, he looked different than he did in the FMV sequence. He was like a skinny Scotsman, and then he was like this fat hobo at the end of the game. And then, of course, he turned into a spider tarantula man. A man spider, if you will. But yeah, other than that, I had a good time with the game. Oh. It's a little too close. I still think it was a step up from 2. Somebody was saying that each game gets progressively better as you go along. Which I guess we'll see. I still think I liked... It still hasn't been that long since I played 3, though, so I feel like I need a little more time to sit on it, but I think of the previous 3 that I've played, I might have liked 3 the best, and then I still think I like 1 better than 2. That doesn't mean I dislike any of those games, but I don't know. I guess I feel like 1 was a little bit more consistent through and through. And I just wasn't as keen on the action-heavy sequences. Speaking of action-heavy, though, one of the weirdest things with 3 was just how, like, flippant Lara was with killing people. I thought it was hilarious when she just walked into that chopper. Dude was smiling, looked like he wouldn't have minded giving her a ride. And then she just pulls out her gun and shoots him in the face. I'm like, sure. I thought he was there to pick her up, actually. I thought he was, like, under her employ, but nah. Tomb Raider 3 Lara was ruthless. No survivors. 1 was pretty damn impressive. I think, obviously, visually, it's the weakest. And even for a 1996 game, it's kind of bare bones. But other than that, the gameplay is real solid. Real ambitious with what they wanted to do with it. And you got several locations, what with like the Grecian areas with all the old Colosseums and all that. You get your little bit of Egypt in there. And whatever else, the whole Atlantis area, which is an interesting take. Puzzle-wise, 1 was the most enjoyable? Probably. I thought 3 had its moments too, but yeah, it definitely got rough. Though, kind of funnily enough, it's like, I think the intro of 3 was probably the most difficult. Like, I could see that India section, like, really being off-putting to a lot of people. And then after that, it kind of was business as usual, for the most part. I mean, it definitely had its hard moments. I'm not saying it was easy or anything, but... I feel like once you get past India, it was a lot more tolerable in terms of difficulty. Outside of some moments here and there. Simplistic and interesting, especially the Nord gods. Oh, yeah. The whole Grecian area, I think, was probably my favorite. Saint something or other's Folly. That was probably my favorite section of the game, too. I liked all that. Getting attacked by apes and lions. Whoa, what the hell's going on there? Look at the look at that. The gate is outstretching. It's like it wants to grab me. Ugh. Had some weird, freaky, like, interactive things. The whole Midas hand I thought was funny, too. Like, going into it, I knew it would already do it, because I played the Anniversary Edition beforehand, but it's still kind of freaky. I think that would have freaked me out if I'd played it the first time. Just step on a hand and she just turns to gold and you die. Good times, yeah. Horrifying deaths. I think gotta watch out for most of these levels. Seems like it's the scorpions. Getting a lot of those. You had the odd old Frenchie popping up when you least expect it. It's like Kato and Inspector Clouseau. It just shows up sometime. Starts wailing on you with his dual magnums. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Oh, wait, no. I was gonna say, I don't even think I saved in this level yet. What the hell is KV5? Is that this? Larson? Oh, yeah. The old cowboy. Actually, there was a legitimate cowboy in that game, and I don't even know what his name was. Natla was a pretty good villain. But, like, at the end of the game, she just has these other mercenaries. There's the big dude, and then there's the Vanilla Ice. And then, well, no, he was more like that in Anniversary, I guess. Was he on a skateboard in the original? I don't remember now. I don't remember if that was the original or if that was Anniversary. Either way, it was kind of dumb. I think it was in the original because, like, the whole map where he fights you is like a skate park. But then one of her mercenaries is like a legitimate cowboy. He's got like a 10-gallon hat, and I think he drops the shotgun, but he uses revolvers. Or maybe it was a Magnums. I don't know. It hasn't even been that long since I played it now. I already feel like it's been ages. Shit, it was bound to happen eventually. As a kid, I remember not liking the underwater sections in this game. They always confused me. Not saying that's going to happen now, but I think I'd rather prolong any excursions underwater. I'm trying to think what the French guy's name was. I think it was Pierre Dupree. Something like that. They make a return in Chronicles. That first level there. All the old Mario games underwater levels. Old TR terrible. Well, Mario had such relaxing music. What with Dire Dire Docks? Actually, I just played Dire Dire Docks as part of the intro for one of my previous streams. I got content claimed, so I had to cut it. I had to cut it off, which I usually do anyway. But still, it's disappointing. I thought Nintendo was supposed to be easing up on their content claims. I think I could hook on to this. Well, Mario swimming was basically like you're flying. Could you throw fire flowers underwater? I guess you could do it in the side-scrolling games. So why wouldn't you be able to do it with 3D Mario? I don't know. I never played much of Mario 64. We've talked about that before, though. Not my favorites. The only one I've beaten all the way is Sunshine. What is this? Is it a switch? Yes, it is. What did that do? Is that staircase always here? Also, seems like Lara isn't nearly as accurate as she is in previous games. She's getting old. Losing her marksmanship. Oh, you're talking about the original Mario Brothers. Okay. I thought we were talking about 64. Considering that these were both like early 3D games. So what do I do with this? What even is this? Can't shoot it. Therefore, I'm out of ideas. Oh, wait. The only one of those that I really ever enjoyed was Mario 3. That's the only one I actually have an NES, too. I don't own the first one or 2. But, when I first got my Super Nintendo, like at age 6, they had the Super Mario All-Stars cartridge. I remember when I first got the Super NES, that was the first thing that the dude at the shop that I got most of my games from recommended. He was like, oh yeah, great value. You get like 6 games in one. And I'm like, sure, why not? And I never really enjoyed them that much. But I did like Mario 3. Swimming in general sucks in games, nothing worse than Devil May Cry swimming levels. Well, that one was weird in particular, because that one just shot you into first-person mode. I think it was manageable. I don't think it was awful. But, yeah, no, swimming's always kind of been frowned upon in video games for a while. I think eventually we kind of got to the point where it's okay, but it's still not like... Most people, anyway, are going to be saying, oh boy, an underwater level. I think it's just the entryway. So I don't know if something else changed. Maybe I should go back here and take a look. I don't know if something changed or... Because we hit that switch, staircase opened up. And then what else happened? Nothing? You go back and like go to the water section, but... Oh wait, now it's gone. Well, what changed? I don't think I hit anything. That's a bit of a drop too, Jesus. Oh, hey. That's a big change. She can turn corners while hanging. That's great. I've always wanted to do that since, I don't know, it's been a thing. I guess I forgot it was this one that changed. I thought it was I remember doing it in Chronicles. because you have to do it in several spots. DMC 2 swimming levels came back with a vengeance. Yeah, I guess it wasn't that big of a drop. Were they exclusive to What's-Her-Face's campaign? Because that's the one I remember. That's the one I didn't play. When I streamed that game, I just did Dante, and I'm like, yeah, like I don't think it's gonna get any better. So I didn't do her levels. The redhead, okay, but they were exclusive to her. Well, if they were, well, then that explains why I never played them. Oh, they were third. They switched to third-person swimming. Okay. Well, maybe that would make the difference then. In 1, it's such a short sequence, and then the fact that it's in first person, I think probably alleviates it a little bit. So I never really thought it was all that bad in 1. I thought it was weird. I thought it didn't have a purpose in 1, but I didn't think it was awful. But yeah, I guess I never played 2. 2's water levels anyway. Well, that sucks. Probably more reason why I won't be doing that. But I don't know. I guess I own the game. Maybe I should at some point. Someday you'll run through 2. Well, you did a little bit of it. I think you've done more than most people can stomach. 2 for the biggest time is a meme in certain circles. I've seen several streamers get pestered to play 2 because they've never played it before and people just want them to suffer. Which I don't think, 2, like, the suffering doesn't come from the fact, like, the game is hard or anything, because it isn't. A lot of the segments are piss easy, but I think it's just so boring. It's funny, though. At some points. One good thing is Dante, that's probably Dante's best look. Well, one of. Wait a sec, so we're just back here? So what did that do? Someday you'll power wash the porch and paint it, yeah. One of these days. I feel like I'm going in circles because, like, I'm not seeing what needs to be done. I think that was literally just a way to get back out. But then we had, like, 2 other places that we could go. A little bit, yeah. It's all, he's got that crimson, like, button down, but then he's got, like, that black vest. I don't know. I thought the face looked more... Something about the face and the hair looked more dignified than previous iterations. And it just went all weird with 3, considering it was a prequel. Alright, I don't know what's going on at this level. I remember you were talking about that when you streamed it that one time. You were saying the game was better with her? But then she has the underwater levels, so how much better could it be? Alright, well the water just forces me back. Oh, and this is the middle section. So this is the other direction I was going to go into. But I guess we can't. Well, what I did notice is that there's these slots on the back of here, so I'm guessing we need to put something in there. I don't have any key items at the moment, though. So the only other thing I could think of is we need to go back up top, which means we need to go through this again, but we need to go back up top and we need to go through the underwater segment that was above or kind of more towards the center. I don't know. It's definitely better with the chick, but the underwater levels suck. Okay. I also like how the final, well, not the final boss, but one of the like 3 final bosses was just a reiteration of everything that you've already fought. Something weird was going on with 2. I don't know the whole history about that game's development, but something funky was going on. I think it was rushed. But I guess that's kind of the deal with almost all Devil May Cry games. I don't know why Capcom rushes those games. It's like even down to 5. 5 was supposedly rushed too. And I guess it shows because there's like a lot of levels that were... You had to go through that damn... what the hell do they call that? The big veiny place. You had to go through there several times. There wasn't like a huge variety in levels strictly because of that. Underworld, something like that. They called it something in particular, though. Started with a C, I think. Something. I don't know. It'll come to me eventually. I didn't hate 5. I thought 5 was great. But, I did recognize that the game did have its rush segments, not only because I heard it after the fact, but because I saw that the level, you kept going back to the same damn place at least like 3 times. And it wasn't necessarily like 4, where 4 had you go literally through the exact same area again, but with Dante. It's almost like, speaking of another Capcom game that we talked about before, it was almost like Code Veronica. It's like the Chris segment. It's like, oh, you're switching from Nero, you're going to play as Dante now, but you just got to work your way back through the exact same game that you played. V was the new character in 5. There's a door down there. I think in Magic, most people use books to summon, but I guess if you want to use that as a point of argument, sure. I didn't mind V. I thought he had a cool playstyle. You just got to keep your distance, and you know, it's essentially the same as the other characters using your power and quick moves. It's just you have to move the character independent of where your attacks land. Okay, we don't even need to switch for that. We just open it. Very interesting. I did not know that was the case with this. Oh good, I was starting to get worried. What is that? I think it's Uzi clips, but it didn't show me what the other thing was. It might have been flares? Okay. 210, that's not bad. Keep your distance typically like with Chicken 2, but playing as V in 5 was a pain. Again, I don't know. I guess for some people it just might be more difficult, but I mean, I played on the harder difficulty setting with 5 first time around. I did not have an issue with V. Like, at all. Oh, another secret. Super ammo. I don't know what that is. I think it might be bolts. Spaghetti Noodle Man? Who's that? Okay, hold up. We're gonna die. Oh, wait. No, you don't get everything in one go. You gotta continuously pick up items. Okay. So that wasn't flares. That was the bolts again. Oh, it's a crossbow. Okay, I didn't even know this game had a crossbow, or I don't remember it anyway. Interesting. You were super optimistic about 5. You wanted to like, or V rather, you wanted to like him, couldn't get into it. Yeah. To each their own. Great. This game looks great and it has a lot of great texture work, but the more complex you get with the games, the harder it is to see like switches and other things that you have to interact with. Maybe I'm just blind to it, but I do not think I saw a switch or lever on the way here. And it's like I'm usually pretty good about finding them too. I thought the gimmick with Nero was kind of cool with the switchable arms. Dante was more or less the same, except that he had a motorcycle that he used as a weapon. I guess that was kind of fun. But V was like the only one that really felt super... Well, no, I guess I can't say that. I mean, Nero, for the most part, played like the typical hacking and slashing, but at the same time, you could use the... Whoa, that was weird. You could use the arm for additional effect. I was kind of hoping that she could just interact with it like she did with the other door. I don't think it would have been in here, though, like a lever or a switch or anything, because that was registered as a secret. So, I don't know. Maybe there's something up above. That seems somewhat complex, though. The motorcycle was funny the first time around, because I just wasn't expecting it. But hey, whatever works, right? Use what you got on hand. But I thought 5 was great. I don't know where I'd place it. I probably still think 3 is the best. When I finished all the Devil May Cry games, I ranked them based on how I felt at the time. I don't know if my feelings would change. But 2 definitely the worst. I think I actually put 1 right above 2. But I played the PS2, the American PS2 version of Devil May Cry 1, which had an awful control scheme. So points got deducted for that. But, like... What was Nero? He was his son. Son of Virgil. And then I think I put DMC above 1. Just because I like the gameplay so much, but with that, it's not nearly as diverse as pretty much any of the other Devil May Cries. It's fairly linear in terms of gameplay. Most of the weapons don't even really feel all that different, to be honest. And then the story is so laughably stupid that I like it because it's so dumb, but I also dislike it because it's so dumb. Oh look, finally, something happens with this. So we needed to do this beforehand. And then after that, it's probably 4. The only thing I didn't like some of the levels in 4, but the only other thing I didn't like was that, or I felt could have been tweaked, and it was something else that got attributed to the fact that the game got rushed, was by the time you get to Dante, you were just playing the levels in reverse. And I don't know, I would have appreciated it more if it was done in a way where you had something a little bit more unique, even if it was shorter. I think I would have preferred that. And then I'd probably like 5 above that, and then 3 would be my top. So yeah, you and me are way off on that. You like Devil May Cry 1 as your first, and then DMC. But when you play Devil May Cry 1, what do you usually play? Do you usually play the remastered version, or do you usually play the original PS2 version? Because like I said, I thought the original Devil May Cry was good. It just would have been a lot better if the controls were better. And they weren't, because the controls on the US PS2 games suck ass. I think you like 3 better than 4 only when you play as Virgil. It's very specific. I love the weapon variety in 3, and I also like the Trickster ability. I think it makes for a much better and smoother gameplay style. No, they changed the control scheme for the remastered version. They changed it to fit more in line with the later games, I think particularly 3. I couldn't explain it to you because I don't remember specifically what the controls were for the PS2 version, but I just remember that they were awful. Just like not intuitive. Buttons were all in spots where they wouldn't feel like they should be. But by the time they did the remastered version, and it was only, I specifically have been saying the US version only because it was only the US version where they had the awful control scheme. The Japanese version had the regular control scheme that was similar to 2 and 3. And then when they released the remastered version, or the HD version, whatever you want to call it, the HD collection version, the control scheme was, they used the Japanese version. So it felt like a much better game. But if you've ever played the original copy, like hard copy of the PS2 version of the game, it's got a terrible control scheme. It's bad. Maybe you forgot, or maybe you just didn't care at the time, but yeah, I dislike the controls enough that it's one of my least favorites just because of that. Specifically that version. They released a remastered port of, it's there. It's definitely there. You could look it up. Look it up, control differences between NTSC-J and NTSC, I guess just 1. Uh-oh. Oh. Just another level. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. What the hell was going on with the thing at the bottom then? We had like that whole section. Alright. I like the look of that. Maybe we go back to it? I don't know. That's weird. I wasn't expecting like a new level. But anyway, I was going to say they re-released, they did a remastered version of 3 on, I think it's exclusive to the Switch actually. But they made a couple of game improvements with that one. The biggest one is that you can change your style like mid-game. It's no longer relegated to the beginning of the level and only the beginning of the level. So instead of, like with me, I just chose Trickster all the time because basically I got to the point where I got so used to the dodge that I didn't want to deviate from it and use any of the other abilities because the dodge was just too damn handy. But being able to switch like mid-game, that's would change up the dynamic of how you play, or at least how I played, drastically. Because I didn't do it all the time, but by the time you got, because I think you could do it in 4, and then definitely could do it in 5. But I was switching between several different things, like all the time with that one. Yeah, well, the dodge was just so damn handy, and then you could do like the air dodge later on. So Trickster was always the way to go. But the other abilities were cool, and it would have been nice if you could switch to them mid-game, but you couldn't at the time. The teleport, maybe, but the teleport like one of the last things that you unlock? I don't know. It's been a year since I played it last, so I don't remember specifics. But 3 I think will always be my favorite just because of the gameplay itself. Very dynamic, got a lot of diversity with it, so you know, you could potentially play through several times and do something different each playthrough. And you're right, one is solid, like it's very consistent, aside from, you know, like the one weird underwater sequence. But I think there were some aspects to the future sequels that came out later on that just kind of improved on the gameplay. Oh, that was close. A lot of people like the music in 3. I don't think I've ever been a fan of any of the music in Devil May Cry. For years and years and years and years, well before I played 3, there was always that image of Dante looking rather orgasmic, and then there was the caption at the bottom that says, "The time has come and so have I." And I just thought that was like a comment on the image. I didn't know it was the lyrics in the actual song. So I think when I first heard that, when I was streaming that, I just started laughing, because I'm like, oh, that's actually a thing, they say. They say something different in the other ones, though. Shit. Oh, look at that. Tricked ya, outsmarted. Well, they only have the one... Didn't they only have, like, the one battle track? So, yeah, like, something like... It's just like battle music in, like, a Final Fantasy or something like that. You just hear it enough, it gets stuck in your head. The time has come, and so have I. Something, blink of an eye. I don't even know if he says blink of an eye. A little bit of a rhyme, though. And the music changed so drastically with Nero's part in 5. When they first showed that trailer, everybody was mocking the shit out of it. But everybody was yearning for the days of the Devil May Cry 3 track. Shit. I wonder if I could just hop back up here. But I think Nero, I think in 5, Nero, V, and Dante all each had their own different, like, battle track. God, these cutscenes were stupid too, but I don't know, they were more genuine in their delivery, where I felt like in DMC they were just so try-hard. What an awful written game DMC was. Like, holy shit. Even at the time that it came out, it just seems so damn dated.
After her!
Whoa. Why does his voice sound so weird? Very hoarse. So that was my intention to... I don't know if I can make that. Start up the Bayonetta games. I still haven't done that, though. My intention was to do it as soon as I finished Devil May Cry. But I just kept putting it off. I've got the Wii U version of Bayonetta 2, which came with a very specific version, like, not quite a remaster, but some people say it's the best version of the original Bayonetta, is that Wii U version that came paired with the sequel. So I've just been thinking of hooking that back up, but I'm just not in the mood for it, I guess. Doing 5 Devil May Cries in a row was sort of enough. No, 6 actually, because DMC was thrown in there. DMC was gross, but the controls were good. Had it down to damn art eventually. No game ever felt as smooth to me as when I was playing as Dante in 4, and it's funny because it was such a short segment in comparison to like everything else, but I've never felt the sense of like unified euphoria through battle controls as I did with Devil May Cry 4, specifically with Dante. Like, there was a moment I commented on it when I was streaming it. I'm like, like, I feel at one with the game. I've never felt a sensation like this before. But I was like chaining attacks and doing all sorts of stuff. Right? I didn't even really have to think about it. It just was like a flow that felt natural. And yeah, you kind of get that with DMC, but... And I think the combat was fun to an extent. In fact, the whole reason I got the definitive edition was like, I don't want to replay this strictly for the combat alone. And then I tried to start to play it, and then I couldn't make it past the first level because I'm like, nah, I'm not in the mood for this. The one, I never really got that same effect. I'm not saying you can't get that kind of feeling from 1, but it didn't click with me like it did with 4. I feel like I kind of got it in 5. I kind of had a similar feeling when I was playing through 5, but it's, for some reason, it just was a lot more defined with 4. I don't remember it clicking as much with 1, though. Definitely wasn't with 2. Of course, there's a couple bosses in 2 where you could just spam the pistols. At some point, I might replay through 1, though. Especially with a better control scheme. See if we might enjoy it a little bit more. Honestly, it probably would have been better if 4 was strictly Nero. Dante just kind of felt tacked on. They could have done the same thing that they did with Trish and Lady and just had it where he was DLC, but I guess some people would have been pissed off by that. It would have been like a similar effect of when you had Raiden in 2. Like, some people just would not be into that. Okay. So I remember looking at a list of levels for this game, and I was like, holy shit, there's like 500 levels in this game. But they're also very short. So every time I'm hitting a level, I might not be saying it, but I'm somewhat astounded at the length of them, because they're not very long. And if you knew what you were doing, you could breeze through some of this stuff in probably like 5 minutes. Basically like Raiden taking over the series. Yeah, and I feel like some people might have thought that anyway. Even though I don't think switching to Nero was quite as jarring as it was as from switching a Snake to Raiden. I think for those particular fans and that particular series, it probably had a similar effect. It's a big ass crocodile. Oh, we got bats back. Four had some really good boss battles too. There was the one with Kratos. What was his name? There was one where you're fighting this knight. I thought was really cool. That was probably the slickest boss battle. I didn't like the end of that game, actually, thinking about it. When you get inside the giant statue, the leader, whatever his name was. Shit. I thought the very end of that battle was kind of shitty because you had to do like this timing with your counterattack, and that sucked. And then there was like the puzzle, like the weird dice game. God, that was weird. That part sucked. I didn't like the dice game. I think I got lucky when I played it on stream, but still, it was shitty. That was a bad segment. Why did they put that in there? It's another one of those weird things that they did. That was good talking to you. I'm about to hit it myself. I'd kind of wanted to see what this level looked like before I stopped, but yeah, I'm about to stop too, so good timing on your part, but always good chatting with you. Thank you for dropping by. Appreciate the raid earlier. I'll probably catch you later, maybe if you're streaming tomorrow. But yeah, it looks like we're dealing with a shitload of water here. Yeah, the dice, that's what it was. You had to like punch it. Somebody told me, maybe it was Sabotage, because he was more into those games and he was watching them at the time. But somebody told me some kind of trick about them. I don't remember specifically what it was, but there was something you could do to sort of manipulate it, and it made it a lot easier, but it still sucked. So that's how it goes. Anyway, that's going to be it for tonight. We've been going a little while. I'm almost 3 hours. It's good enough for me. But it is a weekend after all, so I could splurge a little bit. Dice Park can fuck off. Yeah, that's about my sentiments too. And hopefully we'll never play it again. If we, even with the tacked on Dante segment, if they just got rid of the dice game, easily 10 times better. But anyway, I'm gonna head out. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it, and I will try to be back probably tomorrow. We'll see if we could do some Mass Effect, possibly Ocarina. I guess it depends on what I get done with first, but we'll be looking at doing one of those over the weekend. So I guess stay tuned for that. Or Tomb Raider though, definitely by next week. So if you guys want to come back and hang out for that, I'll be doing that kind of early on in the parts of next week. So stay tuned. But guys, take care. Have a good night, and we'll see you around next time.